This movie is not at all what I thought it was going to be, and it turned out to be such a pleasant surprise. Welcome to Bite Size Bunny, my name's Tony, and today we are going to be talking about We Bury the Dead. After an experimental missile detonates near the coast of Australia, wiping out a large portion of the population, the government steps in to try and clean up the aftermath. This is where Ava comes into the story, played by Daisy Ridley, and she is desperately trying to find her missing husband, so she volunteers to join a cleanup crew that is responsible for going into houses, pulling out the dead bodies, and trying to help identify them before burying them. But things quickly take a turn when some of the bodies begin coming back to life, and they become more and more aggressive the longer they're left alive. Going into this film, I was expecting a messed up zombie film, especially with it being from the director of These Final Hours, which I think is one of the best and one of the most disturbing end-of-the-world films ever made. But what we actually get with We Bury the Dead is a significantly more interesting and thoughtful spin on your typical zombie story. This film is a deep dive exploration into the concept of closure and just how far some people are willing to push themselves to get that closure in hopes of feeling more at ease with themselves. Within the film's opening minutes, it is quickly established that Ava's missing husband was last seen within the vicinity of the blast radius that wiped out a large portion of the population. Despite all the signs pointing to him not making it out, Ava is willing to go through hell to ensure that she knows exactly what happened to him in case there is the chance that he is still alive. And the film does such a good job at getting the viewers to buy into Ava's mission, leaving you wondering if he is still alive, and that adds a whole level of tension and mystery to the journey. Something I also really loved from a visual standpoint is that as Ava continues to travel further and further into the land, the more and more hellish and haunting the landscape looks and feels, really highlighting what Ava is willing to go through to reconnect with her husband. Despite this being a zombie film, it's a very human story, and not necessarily one that's about the dangers of humans and how they may be more threatening than the monsters themselves. Even though you absolutely have some uncomfortable sequences with other human characters that are more unnerving to watch than some of the sequences with the monsters. And that is an impressive feat on its own, because this is also one of the few movies that has zombies in it that actually made me feel uneasy and uncomfortable anytime I was watching them on screen. A lot of that has to do with the well-crafted audio design, because the undead in this film have a messed up spin on them where they are constantly grinding their teeth so violently that you are watching them slowly break and come undone, which brought me so much physical discomfort. That specific pairing of the audio and visual works brilliantly and is extremely effective. The core of this film, though, and what it is entirely focused on, is Ava's internal turmoil. The reason this works as well as it does is Daisy Ridley's performance. If it wasn't for what she brought to the table here, I don't think this film would have worked for me. Without her even having to say a word, you can clearly read everything that's going on with this character and how she's feeling at any given moment. She does such a good job at conveying her doubts and thoughts and just how desperate she is for answers without ever having to spell it out to the audience. She is dead set on getting those answers, whether they are good or bad, it doesn't matter. She just needs to see her husband. It feels so raw and real, and there's even this underlying level of bitterness with the character that leaves you constantly wondering what happened between these two before shit hit the fan. Everything about it worked for me, and I really hope Daisy Ridley continues to get great roles like this that allow her to flex her acting chops. I think she's incredibly talented, and I want to see more projects from her. The only gripe I have with this film is that while I love the themes it explores, and I think it explores them very effectively, I do wish the story and other characters she encounters on her journey felt a little more original. The story and journey she goes on is very straightforward, and if the character study aspects of this movie don't work for you, I don't think it really gives you much else to really chew on here. It's not bad by any means, I just think it feels very familiar. Overall, I think We Bury the Dead offers an interesting spin on your average zombie movie. The story may feel familiar, but the way it goes about exploring its themes of closure really worked for me, and I think Daisy Ridley gives a great performance here. I'm going to be giving We Bury the Dead a 7 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review. Like, subscribe, and all that YouTube stuff. And what is the most creative zombie movie you've seen? I'd love to know.